Hi, this is Damien Marie AtHope, and I am an Axiological Atheist. And today, I have my guest, David Silverman. Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, everybody. I'm David Silverman. Thank you, Damien, for having me on the podcast. I'm the President of American Atheists. I've been an atheist activist now for 21 years. And I am thrilled to be here today to talk about Firebrand atheism and maybe a little bit about my book, maybe a little bit about the upcoming National Convention for American Atheists, starring Hugh Laurie, because Hugh Laurie is going to be there, and starring Hugh Laurie.
Right on. Yeah, so why don't you promote it at the beginning, and then you can promote it at the end. That way, you know.
Okay. So the American Atheist National Convention is March 29th through April 1st. It's in Oklahoma City. And there's a few things about this convention that is really, really different from the other atheist conventions. Number one, Hugh Laurie, again, is our keynote speaker. We're very, very thrilled and honored to have him from house coming in person to speak to the atheist audience. We are having a charity event, a food drive event. We're going to try and beat out the local churches.
Right on.
And put together some meals for, maybe a couple tens of thousands of people. And so I'm really looking forward to getting together with my fellow atheists and doing some good for some people. This convention is going to be, we're going to have a lot of very wonderful speakers, including Hugh, including Ina Shevchenko from the Topless Jihadists from Europe, Barry Lynn, former executive director of Americans United, and a bunch of other really wonderful people. But this convention is about heart. This convention is about love. And this convention, Damien, is going to be about what you and I are going to talk to you about today, which is about the heart and the love inside of Firebrand atheism.
Oh, yes.
I am very proud to be the hardest line atheist that I know. And the reason that I'm a hardline atheist is because I love people and I love humans and I'm trying to do good. Not because I hate religion, not because some preacher did something bad, and not because God did something bad, and not because I'm a mean person or an angry person. I'm a very nice, loving person, but I get mean and I get angry. I don't get angry when I talk about religion because religion hurts people. And so this convention is going to be about the heart of Firebrand atheism. Hearts plus brains minus assholes.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get up on stage and laugh about sending rape tweets to somebody. We're going to create a welcoming, nurturing environment, and we're going to have the positive side of atheism, positive side of hardline Firebrand atheism.
Correct.
And we're going to have comedy. We're going to have love. We're going to have live a DJ party, and it's going to be great. So please go to atheists.org/convention 2018 and register for the convention. If you don't think you can afford it, guess what? We have hardship pricing for the convention. So if you can't afford to come, if you can't afford to pay the full price, which, by the way, is, I believe, the cheapest full price of the convention circuit, for the atheist convention circuit. If you can't pay that, hello, Kitty.
Hello.
You can pay hardship prices and still come. We don't want anybody to miss this event. Please come to the atheist convention and pay what you can. Atheists.org/convention 2018. Hearts plus brains minus assholes. Okay, commercial over.
All right, on. Well, the commercial is important because I went to the one in Nashville, Tennessee, and I really thought it was great to connect with people. And it's really weird to me because I always feel like I'm somewhat alone out doing activism on the street or even online. And to go and just have so many people, to talk to and where you don't have to just beat the straw man of that, an atheist is not a Satanist or something, nonsense. You can just actually start talking about issues. It's a really wonderful thing. And I think that everybody should definitely go.
Damien, I still remember the first time I walked into a room full of atheists. I was not the first atheist, the only atheist I knew, but it was the first time that I remember first, it was 1997. I walked into a room full of atheists. I remember what door I walked into. I remember looking at the place. There were maybe 200 atheists in the room. And I remember the camaraderie that I immediately felt. And I will readily admit that there were several years when I went to atheist conventions that I did not really attend. I just paid for the prize. I paid the admission, and I was state director for many of those years. Sorry, Alan Johnson, former president. I was paid. I was a state director for many years, and I would get up late. I would go to the bar. I would meet up with my friends. We would start drinking. We would get home 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And it was an incredibly bonding experience. I've had some of the best times that I've had at these atheist conventions. And in Memphis, when we sent everybody down to Beale Street, we sent them down with these green shirts that really allowed us to find each other on the streets of Beale Street. And when we do these conventions, it's Easter weekend, so there's not a lot of people partying on Easter weekend, but we were there, and so we kind of monopolized the area. And it was a very, very positive experience, and people are still having these incredibly positive experiences. And in Salt Lake City and in Memphis, one of the things that I remember specifically about those cities is that there were people who were coming who were so so shielded from atheism, so outside of atheism, that they were just overwhelmed with the idea of walking into a room full of atheists. I remember people in Salt Lake City just crying in the hallways because they'd never been able to say the words that they were saying out loud. And so, a lot of people think, well, what is an atheist convention? You're just going to go and talk about why there is no God. Well, yeah, there is a little of that, but really the main reason you go to an atheist convention is fun.
Yeah.
And that's why the atheist conventions that we put together have fun, comedy, DJs, the charity. I did the charity event already once. It's a lot of fun packing food. It is. And we're going to have an after party for those people who attend the charity event, a special after party. Right. There is rumors of lots of booze flowing. There are it's something that I'm really looking forward to. It's one of the highlights of my year is to put together one of these conventions. Not because, I love the speakers. Yes, come for the speakers. Yes, the speakers this year are a step above speakers of the past because we've got some really good, like I said, it's not just Hugh, it's Inna and Barry Lynn and Anthony Magnabosco and Yvette Guinevere. And we've got really great speakers coming. But also, it's fun, and it's hearting, and it's loving, and it's important. And there's a cat on your head. Yeah. And
that's my cat, Demon.
Your cat is named Demon?
I have Demon and Spirit. I actually don't believe in either of those things. I named them because my mom is still a fanatical Christian, and when she would come over to my house, I wanted her to have to say Demon and Spirit in a positive way because I thought it was funny.
You should have named them Godfucker or something like that. This is Godfucker.
Well, then my mom wouldn't have said the name.
So I think we're talking about the convention. It's turning into a little bit of a long commercial for the convention, but really the important thing is the feeling that you get when you're among these people. A lot of people now, the convention, people have been to smaller events, people have been to smaller conventions, and American Atheists is the biggest ones in the country. We had the most fun conventions in the country, and this year our speakers list is above and beyond. I'm really looking forward to it.
I was going to say, I also think that it's also, to me, I've been to several different conventions, and I would say it's the one that feels the most safe for Firebrand atheists compared to some of them where you feel like, most of the stuff is really not focused towards you, or it's almost in a sense against you. Like, I know that to me, Firebrand atheism is the side that I think is right and the side that you do. And then the other side to me is the accommodationist atheists, the ones that break their back to, try to pander to religion. And if that's what they feel, I don't really have a problem with another atheist doing that. What I have a problem is when those atheists tell us we are wrong and only their way is right. I'm like, no, it's not.
And they get so impatient. And they get so unhappy. There are, I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but there's a specific, there are humanist events out there, and there are skeptic events out there to which I am not welcomed. And it's not just that I'm not welcomed. I don't want to make it too melodramatic. I have not been welcomed at those conventions, and some conventions that I've gone to, I won't be asked back, not because of the management, but because the audience hates me. And the reason that they hate me is completely wrong. The reason that they hate me is that they are still victims, and this is the hard part that they don't like to hear.
Yes.
They are still victims of the indoctrination that religion has good in it, that religion is nice, that religion does well for some people. Well, my grandmother lives by her religion, and it would just destroy her if it was taken away. Now, guess what? Your grandmother is a victim of that religion, and she's addicted to it, and it would hurt her to take it away because religion is shit, and it infected your grandmother, and we're trying to stop that from happening. And we need to understand that religion is a lie, it is a con, it is a scam, and if you need it, that's not saying that it's good.
That's right.
People who are addicted to heroin need heroin, but heroin isn't okay. It's a lie, it's a con, and it's a scam. And so people get this idea in their heads that I have jettisoned the religion. I was raised Catholic, and I am no longer believing in that God. And so I am free of all of the religious indoctrination that I received as a child. And that's wrong, because those people still call themselves lapsed Catholic.
Yeah.
They still think calling themselves Catholic is good.
Right.
They try to hold on to the Catholic word because they can't get around the fact that it's all bullshit, and that part of the bullshit that they've been fed is that the Catholic religion is good. Part of the religion that they've been fed is that the religion itself is good for people, that kids need religion. And don't even fucking get me started about the idea that people get married and then they join religion because kids need religion. Oh. This is all that indoctrination.
What I hate is when atheists say that. I've heard atheists say that they still want their kid to have a religious education. I'm like, what?
I want to slap these people upside the head. I really do, but I don't. I don't do violence. But God damn it, this is talking about. I know that this is a lie, but I still feel the niceness. I still think that telling my kids is a lie. So I'm going to live a lie and tell my kids that a lie is the truth because it'll what? Make my fucking mother happy?
Yeah.
Make my grandmother smile because they're victims of it? Or because I'm still indoctrinated into the idea that lying to people so that they become enslaved with the religion is a good thing. That is serious indoctrination, and that is permeating through the accommodationist side of the atheist movement. They still have a certain level of self-hate, self-loathing.
They then put on us.
Yes.
Not just on themselves. Yeah.
Yes, they're pushing it on us because we dare to say that the Catholic religion deserves to die. So does the Islamic religion. So does the Jewish religion. So does the Hindu religion. All religion deserves to die. Not religious people. Yeah. Not religious victims. The lie, the con, the scam that is religion deserves to die, and we should all unite to kill it dead because it's a scam, because it has no value in society, because it funnels money from the poor to the rich, because it funnels money from the ignorant to the educated, because it hurts the entire society. Religion needs to die. Religion deserves to die. It deserves no mercy. It deserves no resting place. This is true.
I totally agree.
If we as atheists can't even understand, I mean, we as atheists need to understand that the dogma that God is there is only a part of the dogma that religion gives us. The other parts include religion is good, religion is useful, religion is important, religion is necessary. None of that is true.
Yeah.
And we need to all own that.
So you made a point about lie. I want to clarify for some people that don't think how I consider when you say lie. I try to think about and say what they're lying about. There's three things that almost every religion lies about. They have pseudo-history, pseudo-science, and then pseudo-morality. They say that things that are actually not morals are morals. Like somehow a belief deserves life torture.
Yes.
That not agreeing to a belief in a God, if you did everything else right, you would still be tortured for eternity. That is not morality. That's not even the beginning of morality. In fact, that's the exact opposite.
It's abuse.
Yeah,
it's abuse. I mean, it's really an abusive thing, and it's not benevolent. It's not good. There is no such thing as a benevolent religion. There is no such thing as a good religion. The only kind of good religion is a dead religion, frankly.
Well, I do a lot of study on the history of religion, origin of religion. I get into all kinds of religions like shamanism, and I'm not going to get into them like as I like them. I get into them to investigate and debunk them, not to leave any stone unturned. I go after all of it because it all needs to. Somebody has to do it because otherwise they'll go, oh, well, it's good. Jainism, good. And I go, yeah, how about the sexism? Oh, well, Sikhism is good. They also have sexism. How about Taoism? Taoism, the Tao also has to do with sexism. And if you look back at the origins of the terms, all these things, like you said, we can't give them a free thing. Just like, shamanism, it's only about wonderful. Really? Do you know Genghis Khan was a shaman? He seemed to kill lots of people with ambivalence. And Buddhism, how about Pol Pot? And I'm not saying that just because someone is Buddhist, but to think that these religions cannot, even Miramar has stuff going on with Buddhism. So the fact that these religions, people want to how about the Dalai Lama? I have a whole blog about why. Also, the fact that he was a CIA spy, and the fact that he also never said that people shouldn't burn themselves alive for their religion. He said, I have no comment. How could you have no comment? If any other time a person of peace should have a comment, it's when people are murdering themselves in the name of your religion. But anyways, I'm not going to go on and say that.
And the thing is, and at an even baser level, all religion depends on the idea that there is a deity, that there are at least one deity. And that is a lie. And when I say it's a lie, a lot of people say, well, I'm not lying. I thought I was telling the truth. There's a difference between telling a lie and lying.
Yep.
Okay? If you don't know that you're doing it, you're still telling a lie.
Yep.
You're not lying so much because you're not lying because you're not knowingly telling a lie, but you are telling a lie. The idea that God exists is a lie. Any God exists. So whatever religion you wish, the fact that it's a religion means that they believe in some sort of lie as a basis. The Dalai Lama was reincarnated. Right. Guess what? That's bullshit, and that doesn't make him more reasonable. That doesn't make him more special. He's not reincarnated. He doesn't have you think he has wise things to say? Great. So do I, and so do you.
Right.
And let's talk about it. I'm not saying that people shouldn't talk, and I'm not saying that the Dalai Lama or anybody else, even Jesus or Buddha, never said anything good. But they're not frickin' miracles. They're not the basis for their fame and power is an invisible entity in the sky or more. At least one invisible entity in the sky. And guess what? That is a lie.
I totally agree.
And that is what hurts people.
I always tell people, first prove to me simple magic is proof in the world before you try to make me believe in some kind of supreme super magic of a God.
Right.
Just show me anything. Show me anything that you can do that's magic. I'll even start entertaining it. Until you do that, what property does God have? Because you say the only property of God is magic. Well, there is no magic. Done.
And this is a really important point, Damien, because a lot of people, and I'm just going to take a little bit of a divergent here, but this is a really important point. In the book, in my book, Fighting God, I say that the sum total amount of supernatural anything on the planet is 0. Prove me wrong once, I'll quit my job. And the reason I want to go off on a tangent here is because if you look at A&E and so many different TV channels, you've got things like Ghost Hunters TV shows, which is now in its 11th season, and it's got spin-offs in all different countries.
I used to believe it. When it first came on, I was sort of a young atheist. I thought maybe it was true.
Right.
Because it looks like
a TV show on it. They can't have listen, Damien, it's completely reasonable to assume that a show named Ghost Hunters would not be on for 11 seasons if they actually found 0 ghosts every single time.
I know.
But that is exactly what they do. And so It's, and I'm just going to harp on Ghost Hunters again. 11 seasons. It is completely reasonable to assume that they have had some degree of success, not zero success, which is what they have fucking had.
Yes.
Zero. And so it's important for me to say on this podcast, right here, right now, if any ghost hunter show, any psychic, any supernatural, anything ever can show me anything once, I will quit my job as American Atheist President. And I will go. Ghost hunters can pick the most hauntedest house in the whole Z world Z. And I will go there on my dime, on American Atheist dime, with video cameras, of course. And I will bring, testing equipment. And we will look for the ghosty woasty in the basement of the most hauntedest house ever. And guess what I'm going to find? Nothing. And if I don't find nothing, I'll quit my job because, of course, I don't want to be wrong. So let me go back to what you were saying. This lie, when you look at the Long Island medium, who is also a liar.
Yes.
When you look at every other psychic, which is also a liar. There were 0 psychics on the planet. There were 0 ghosts on the planet. Prove me wrong once, I'll quit my job. But this is so prevalent that people are doubtful that there's no real magic. And that is what gives us the basis for the religion. I mean, if ghost hunters are real, well, Ghost Hunters has been on 11 seasons. They must be finding ghosts. Therefore, there must be supernatural something. So maybe my God has relevance. This shit poisons our society. Yeah, and it's wrecking our kids, too. I mean, our kids are, like you, looking at Ghost Hunters and thinking, wow, that makes sense because it's on the TV.
But what I did, I actually went to a haunted house, supposedly one of the most haunted in Savannah, on Halloween at night, went in the basement, and they told me, whatever you do, don't make them mad. And I told them, go F yourself, fuck this, suck a dick. I could give a shit, fuck you, bring it on. I don't believe in you. You're worthless. I think you're scared. You're a scumbag. You always were a scumbag. I mean, I tried everything and nothing, David. And that's when I went, okay, I was thinking maybe, I wasn't sure, but that's nothing. Why am I spooking myself out?
Right, because our society does that, and it legitimizes it, and it's not harmless, Damien. It's not harmless because it legitimizes the lies of religion. So it's one lie legitimizing another. Mm-hmm. The media is working against us because it sells tickets and because it sells commercial time. And it's something that we really and guess what? This discussion that you and I are having, the accommodationist side of the atheist movement doesn't have it.
Yeah.
They don't even talk about the whole concept of ghost hunters being a lie and a con and a scam, and therefore legitimizing atheism, legitimizing religion. They don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. All they talk about is being nice and getting together because, of course, that's what they were taught to do, because religion has its pluses, because grandma's religious.
Yeah, I wanted to address also Ancient Aliens is also bullshit. And I never believed that show, but I thought it was like funny, like no one was really going to believe it. But I have a lot of atheists. I got to keep telling it. I made a blog about it, about why these are archaeologically false. It's not maybe false. It's 1,000%. It is false.
Of course it's false.
And they go, well, there could be aliens. I go, maybe, but they didn't build the pyramids. Let's just start there.
They didn't build the pyramids and then leave.
No.
Okay, that's not what they did. That's not why they would do it. And they're not here probing your butts either.
And I think that, a combination of atheists said to me, well, why are you focused on that? That's not even atheism. Yes, it is. To me, atheism is a reality position. That's why an atheist is more prone to believe in science than someone who's a theist. Why? Or believe in the scientific method can actually produce some form of truth. We ask most theists if they think that, they would either say no, they don't know, they don't trust science, or they would say flat out, science only knows one kind of evidence, as if somehow religion's ever produced any evidence.
Any evidence at all. Right. Any evidence at all. And that's the discussion that needs to happen. Okay, what kind of evidence is there, and how do you measure it, and what do we do about it, and how do you know that I'm just not making it up? Is it evidence that I had a dream last night that my father came to me and said, I'm a good boy? Is that evidence that he's alive? Is it evidence that my father came to me in a dream last night and said I was a bad person. Is that evidence? What if Hitler came to me in a dream? Does that mean it's evidence? What if somebody else has a dream that says something completely operationally different from what I dreamed? The level of skepticism, unfortunately, in the atheist movement is scarily low in certain places, and I think the skepticism is highest in the Firebrand sector, because we're even skeptical about the goodness of religion. We're skeptical about more things, put it that way.
Yeah, well, I'm a rationalist. I don't like to call myself a skeptic. For me personally, because to me personally, the only master that I have is reason, not doubt. Doubt couldn't give me the truth, but reason has that possibility for me. So I'm saying just for me, I don't have anything against someone calling themselves. I'm saying just I don't like being lumped in. I'm just saying this because I don't like to be lumped in as a skeptic. I am not doubting anything. I only believe that which has proof. That's not a doubt position. That is a complete rational position. And if you ever show me something, I am open to amend my belief. I'm open to change. I'm open to remove my belief and replace it with that which is true. And tomorrow. And I heard people go, well, science doesn't know anything. I can't stand when people say that. Yeah, so we're not on Earth? So that we're not humans? And then they go, well, how do you know that? I go, how do you know we're speaking in English? How do you know that I'm talking to you on Facebook? How do you see me through your eyeballs? I mean...
And so people go to this how do you know without even thinking about what it means to know.
Yeah.
I mean, and now this brings us to one of my favorite topics, the word agnostic.
Yeah.
Because I don't know everything. I don't know everything in the universe, so I'm agnostic. Yeah, well, guess what? Here, this is a pair of scissors. It cuts paper. I bought it myself. It's been on my desk for a long time, and I use it. But guess what? I don't know. This is not God cleverly disguised as a pair of scissors. I can't prove it's not true. But do I say this is probably a set of scissors, but I don't know everything in the universe, so it's not true? Do I say my name is probably David Silverman, but I'm not sure? No. We say I'm sure, I'm definite, I'm absolutely sure about things all the time, and none of those times do we know everything in the universe. So what does the word know, K-N-O-W, actually mean?
Right.
It means to know things beyond a level of doubt.
I agree.
If this is a pair of scissors, if this is God, and God turns himself back from a pair of scissors into God right in front of me, I'll change what I know. But I still know this. And we know things. And we don't know everything in the universe when we say we know things. But when we say, oh, I'm an agnostic, or science doesn't know everything, well, guess what? We know enough to say we know all the time. And when we say we're agnostic because we don't know everything, what we're doing is we're elevating, and here's that indoctrination again, we're elevating religion above this is a pair of scissors. We're elevating religion above fact. We're saying this is definitely a pair of scissors. This is definitely a glass of water. Right. I am definitely David Silverman. The invisible magic man in the sky? Maybe. Even though we have absolutely no reason to believe it. Because we atheists are indoctrinated into protecting religion.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're protecting religion.
But I think they do it.
Even as we dismiss it.
But they do it in a way that's almost like their subconscious is hijacking them. They're not intentionally I don't think they think, oh, the reason David Silverman or Damien are doing something wrong by pushing Firebrand atheism. They think, what about the people that are hurt? They think that they're being caring. But they don't see that what they're doing is they're protecting falsehood, they're protecting pseudoscience, they're protecting pseudomorality. Just like you said about the Catholics a little while ago. Right, the Catholic Church. You mean the one that protects pedophiles? That Catholic Church? Right. Yeah, that alone would be questionable for me, even if I thought Christianity was true. But the other one second. The other thing I wanted to say is that the people, especially people that say they're agnostic, to me, they don't realize you are either an atheist or you're not an atheist. Because in logic, there's A and not A. There is no middle position. In fact, it's called the law of excluded middle. So the point is, there is no such thing. And what this has to do with is because if they could talk all they want, but how we, like you're talking about, is how we colloquial in a sense or naive realism kind of experience the world. We do not go around and everything that we do have this open doubt that we seem to people act like it's special, like somehow religion and God deserve some category that nothing else deserves.
Correct.
It's like it's insane. In fact, so much so, a hat, right? My hat says atheist. I wear it everywhere. I bedazzled it, and it's not threatening. Hell, it looks half, like effeminate because it's, all in diamonds and stuff. So it's certainly not threatening. Well, so funny. I went to the massage place, and the person at the desk says, "Oh, I like your hat." First, I thought they were being nice. Cool. Mm-hmm. Right on. And then they said, "Why do you wear that hat?" And I said, "Well, because I'm an atheist." "Yeah, well, are you expecting people to challenge you?" And I said, "Why? Because my hat says atheist?" I said, "So if you had a hat that said Christian," and she said, "Yeah, in fact, I'm going to get a hat so the atheist will challenge me." I laughed at her. Atheists are not going to challenge you. Everyone's wearing a Christian hat. What are you talking about? You are the norm.
Right.
I said, in fact, you're so much the norm, you don't realize you challenging me is basically what you're doing is you're not seeing that you're trying to put that on me. You're trying to put how you felt when you read what it said, not that it said anything. It doesn't say, please challenge me.
She's giving you the bad side of her religion.
Right. The indoctrination, I feel like that's not too different from a lot of the accommodations to atheists.
And this is really an important point, and this is why I often say that, yes, I'm a humanist. I never call myself a humanist, because calling yourself an atheist and being a Firebrand atheist is more humanistic than calling yourself a humanist and taking the accommodationist side. There is nothing nice about saying my belief, my truth is my truth, and your truth is your truth. There's nothing nice there at all, okay? That's cowardice. That's cowardice. It's fear. It is accommodationism is helping the lie. It is assisting the lie. It is reinforcing the lie. Your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth is a lie. It's a big, harmful, fat lie that accommodationists say all the time, and they do it with pride because they think they're being good, and they do think they're being good. What they don't realize is that they're being bad. They're being anti-humanistic. They're being selfish. They're being greedy. They don't want to have a little heartache. They don't want to have a little rough conversation. But what they don't realize is if they had that rough conversation, that slightly, and I'm talking slightly hard conversation, they would actually help the people they're talking to instead of hurting the people they're talking to by saying, yes, your religious belief is legitimate and I'm not going to challenge it. That is a harmful, terrible, selfish, and cowardly thing to say to another human being. And that's why I say Firebrand atheism is far more humanistic than the accommodationist side.
Well, and we risk a lot in doing this. I mean, I know that I have to switch doctors now. I have a nerve damage in my foot, and the doctors basically, to me, that they didn't say it outright, but I think they stopped helping me because of my atheism. Because yeah, but I'm saying how unethical to do that, right? So I didn't do anything wrong, but just
because Jesus is love.
Well, what was ridiculous, I thought I was even being nice, because he said something like, why do I need my foot done so quickly? And I said, well, my book's going to be done, soon, and then I want to be able to travel and walk, and I have a problem walking. Sometimes I need a wheelchair. I need that foot fixed. And then he said, well, what do you go to conventions for? What do you mean writing a book? I said, oh, it's about atheism and about the history of religion. And he's like, really? So you think there's no God? And I go, look, I debate people professionally. This is just, a doctor's office. I don't, just to warn you, I don't want to get into this, but I'm more than welcome to do that if that's what you want. So he tried to challenge me.
Your doctor?
Doctor did.
And you live in Seattle, right?
I live in Seattle. But my thing was the Swedish hospital, which got taken over by the Catholic Church, I think it is, or something like that. So yeah, so even like I wanted my gender checked. They wouldn't do it. I had to go to the school, the Washington University, because they said, yeah, because I wanted to know because I have some issues. I'm mildly intersex, and I have a few issues that I wanted to see how much, like genetically. Because the doctor thought maybe was XXY, which is a different kind of in a sense genetic gender. Anyways, so I went and got it checked, and I wasn't, right? So anyways, I don't go into all that. But anyways, my point is I couldn't believe I had to go to a different place. I go, this is ridiculous. Like you said, this is Seattle.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not even, and this is what's crazy. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just asking you take a test to see. And they wouldn't do it. But you know what? I'm not going to be quiet, David. That's not going to keep me down. In fact, I'm going to tell about it so that other people hear how important your book is, how important Firebrand atheism, and even in a liberal town like Seattle, a doctor under ethical care that I did nothing to, just because of my Firebrand atheism, doesn't want to be, treat me. Or it feels that
Amazing.
way. I can't,
Amazing.
prove it.
And it saddens me that happens in Seattle, but yeah, we have to realize that even in liberal cities, even in civilized liberal cities, there's a lot of indoctrination. There's a lot of anti-atheist sentiment, a lot of atheophobia. There's a lot of ignorance that holds us down, and that's one of the reasons why American Atheists is fighting on a state-by-state level and on a national level to change the zeitgeist of this country. It's something that we're doing well and effectively, but of course it's very, very challenging given the political environment. But it's something that we really need to change. People need to not get shocked when somebody with an atheist hat walks into a doctor's office, especially in a city like Seattle.
Yeah. So in fact, my wife says don't tell the doctors anymore because we want people to treat you. And I go, you know what? We'll go to a different doctor. I can't even fathom how unethical. What's so crazy is I bet he feels he's morally superior to me.
Of course he does.
I would treat anyone. What the hell?
I know. Because you're actually ethical.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Morality, as you said, religion gives you a false morality. That false morality says that being terrible to out-group members is moral. Yeah, that's what it is.
They hate atheists because they feel like that we are somehow deserving of course, remember, because they think we're deserving of eternal torture. So what would disliking us be? That would be trivial.
Right.
In their morality. I don't think it is trivial, but I'm saying in their morality, I can see where that's why religion has to be fought. That's why I think that it is a good title, Fighting God. We are at war. But the thing is that we are the one that has the side of truth. And if you have to understand what truth is, I love when people try to say it to me. To me, I see knowledge in a sense as an arc. That we build upon knowledge, just like science does. We don't know everything, but we build. If we learn more, then you build and can, like stepping on a ladder, you can climb up and then see over. And so to me, that everything in a sense starts at pragmatic. Everything does. Logic in a sense has axioms. It says this must be. So that's when they try to say we can't be certain of things. Well, then we can't use logic. So then you can't even use what you're talking about or use any language that makes sense. We have to assume that things that appear true can be until we test them. And like I said, like a hypothesis, the pragmatic, that we assume the state of truth. Then we always investigate and always are willing to change. Which is so crazy to me that they always think, especially the people that are accommodationalists, they think that Firebrand atheists are not willing to change. That we're closed-minded. I'm like, dude, I'm a Firebrand atheist because I'm open-minded. I started out, when I first believed in God in college, I had never heard the word atheist really explained to me, so I didn't even know what it was. Never met an atheist, never read an atheist book, had no desire to become an atheist, took religious classes, realized all this stuff was nonsense. Right. Then the first thing I thought was, because I still didn't talk to any atheists for about 3 years, I thought, well, I'm a spiritual atheist, because I thought, well, I still kind of care and ethical, because I was so indoctrinated, I thought the word spiritual meant morality. That if I was to say I didn't believe in God, I still needed to have a morality, and then the only word for that I thought was spiritual, because so indoctrinated. And then later I started finding out, wait a minute, morality doesn't have anything. And first off, what does spiritual even mean? I don't even know what that means.
Right. I always challenge people to define spiritual. I never let anybody get away with the word spiritual because I ask them to define it right away. Is it supernatural or is it not?
Yes. And so, in fact, I did the same thing to an atheist philosopher friend of mine. He used, well, people use spiritual. I go, what is that? Then you explain it. You think it's important, you explain it, because I see no value until you can explain it even means something that I need to care about. And so we spent like, I don't know, like almost a whole day debating. And you know what? He had no proof. And I told him, this comes down to one simple thing. A rule that I have is called justificationism. It's the most core philosophy to everything I believe. Justificationism is the belief that everything in a sense has to have a justification. I mean, it's not like some kind of crazy thought that you have to justify shit. But once you do that, like you're saying, you ask them, there actually is no justification for the official term spiritual, so it doesn't mean anything. It's just some word that religious people with indoctrination want to hold on to. That's all I was doing.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And it's ironic that the soft-siders accuse us of being dogmatic.
Yes.
I pride myself in trying to be the least dogmatic person there is. You know, I mean, I was raised Jewish, and in that indoctrination, I was raised with a couple of different indoctrinations. I don't quite know the word there. I was raised that God exists and God is real, and that Judaism is a good thing, and that Judaism is a race and a tribe and a people.
Yeah.
And I dismissed the God, but I did not dismiss that Judaism is a tribe or a people until I was 46 years old. And when I was 46 years old and I was writing Fighting God, I decided to write a defense of the concept of Jewish atheism, because I was one. And I was vice president of American Atheists, and I had status, and I'm going to do this. And I'm writing the book, and I failed. I applied serious skepticism to the concept of Jewish atheism, which is when you try to prove yourself wrong and fail. And I tried to prove myself wrong and succeeded. Over and over again, I applied actual skepticism. So that's some serious dogma that I dismissed at 46 years old. That was right down. I had gone on television and argued the point. And it took myself to argue it out of it. So here's me. That's one example of me dismissing some real dogma that I've been indoctrinated with. And now let's look at the other side. In Fighting God, I use data. I have data in Fighting God, serious quantitative data from multiple independent sources. I know how to use data. I have a master's degree in marketing. I know how to use quantitative data. I know how to measure, to crunch numbers. And I crunch them effectively and correctly in Fighting God. And I can show that people who use the word humanist are being misunderstood 90% of the time. And the only people who are understanding it are the people who are already inside the movement, obviously. So why use it? Well, they use it because they don't want to change. They're the ones being dogmatic. They say, I don't want to tell people that I'm an atheist because atheism is bad, and that's what my preacher told me when I was young. So they have this indoctrination, and they are stuck. They are dogmatic. The people who say, I'm not going to call myself an atheist because atheism is a negative connotation, are the people suffering from and contributing to the dogma that atheism has a negative connotation. They are not looking at the facts, which is 90% of the country doesn't understand the word humanist, 90% of the country doesn't understand the word freethinker, and 90% of the country does understand what an atheist is. So what are you doing? So people say that they're trying to do good by calling themselves a humanist, by calling themselves a freethinker. You know, I had a speech recently in California, I think it was, and we had a protester outside the hotel where I was giving a speech, and he was hanging out Jesus flyers. Okay, standard stuff. Yeah. Nice guy, preacher handing out Jesus guy, stereotypical guy, right? Handing out Jesus flyers. And guess what he called himself?
What?
A freethinker. He called himself a freethinker. Our opponent.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Called himself a freethinker. Think about the crazy there of calling yourself a freethinker. Think about the crazy of pretending that you're not being dogmatic while at the same time calling yourself something that is misunderstood so often that our opponents use the same word.
Yeah.
Think about that. Okay, that's serious dogma. That's serious dogmatic thinking, and that's serious not thinking, and that's serious, I'll say it again, cowardice. That is serious cowardice. If you're so afraid to use the word that you use a word that our opponents use, you're hiding, and you know it, and you're dogmatic, and you know it, and you're cowardly, and you know it, and you should stand up and grow some guts and become and come out as an atheist, because that's how you change the world. That way, people will at least understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's real important what you're saying, and I feel the passion. And I also agree that your book had a lot of wonderful stats that people need to know to enrich their value of why we have to be an atheist. We already are, but we have to be in the public side. We have to be, and I think it have to be out. And I think that I'm a humanist. I always try to classify all the things that I am. But I always make sure I say atheist. And I was already doing it before you. But once I heard your stuff, now I feel even better. Because I felt alone. I felt like everyone keeps attacking me. All these accommodations. I'm going, what the? And they're all going, well, I'm an agnostic. And I'm like, well, you're an atheist. Do you believe in a God? Well, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, you can't believe. Thus, you're an atheist. Okay.
Right. There's nobody out there who should call themselves an agnostic or a free thinker or a humanist, unless, of course, you're in some sort of a situation where you legitimately can't come out as an atheist. And that's really a very small amount of people. A lot of people are just afraid to have the words out. But there are some people out there that, if they came out as an atheist, they would be fired. They would be not just have bad words, but actually be thrown out of their family. Okay. That's the job that then it falls to us, period. People
That's right.
like you and me, Damien, and people who are in the middle to come out as an atheist to normalize the word so that those people who can't come out can later on.
Exactly.
That's humanism.
That is. I agree. That is. That's why I don't understand. How is my care? I am fighting for people. I've gone to colleges. I go on the street. I am fighting. I care. They go, well, you just hate religion. Hell no. I don't hate religion. I love people. I am sick of the fact that another child is indoctrinated like I was. I was raised in a religious cult. I didn't have a birthday. We didn't go celebrate Christmas. We didn't watch movies. Didn't watch TV. I had nothing. I was 36 before I became an atheist. I was accident in college. It was total fluke. I was going to become a Christian counselor for drugs and alcohol, or helping kids in inner cities or something. I mean, and then all of a sudden, whoa! I find out, because they told me, well, if you're going to do that, you got to take classes on religion because you're going to have to deal with AA. And I said, well, okay, I can believe in people's religion. They said, no, you have to take class. It's not good enough. You're going to be a counselor ethically. We're going to make sure that you're going to be ethical with other religions. And so I go, I didn't want to take it. But I took the class, and I had to do a report. Instead of like why they're wrong or right, you just have to what they are. But what they did for me is it really showed me that these religions, and that helped me actually see mine. When I saw does a thing. They all say the same thing. Every one of them, only they have the way to live in this life. Only they know what the afterlife is. Only they have the right way to get the afterlife or get the right reward in the afterlife. But they all say that, and they all have their own morality, and I start going, wait a minute. If all these are wrong, how can I be sure mine's right? By default, Christianity is just right? I'm never going to test it? I started thinking for the first time, wow, I never thought to even question, is God true? That's why my thing is to always ask people when they say God, I don't even say just atheism, which I do say, but I always question them, what do you mean by God? I don't even accept the term. I make them define the term right there. We already start debating. I don't even let them get out the door with the word, because I realize I never even thought. And you don't know. People always get mad at me, feeling like somehow I'm harassing people by challenging the term God. And I'm like, no. For the first time in their life, I make people think, do you really know what you're talking about? And you would be shocked. I have never. Not a Christian philosopher, not a regular person have ever lost that. They all eventually say they don't really know, they just choose to believe. Well,
Right.
if your only reward is for sure I can find out when I die, that is not evidence.
And guess what? You just hit on a really nice colloquialism there, Damien. Choosing to believe.
Yeah.
Choosing to believe is not a thing. You cannot choose to believe. You cannot choose to believe that this is God.
Right.
I can convince you.
Right, convince.
But you can't choose it.
Yeah.
Okay? If I held a gun to your head, or if I held a proverbial gun to the entire planet, and I said, I'm going to destroy the planet unless you believe that this is that this is God, the planet dies. You can't choose to believe. What you can do is choose to pretend to believe.
True.
You believe or you don't believe.
True.
Or you cannot choose to believe. You can only choose to pretend to believe. And so when people tell me I choose to believe this, I challenge them on that. Do you choose to believe the world is round? No. You actually believe the world is round. Do you choose to believe that the world is flat? Can you choose to believe the world is flat? No, you can't, because you actually believe the world is round. So you're not choosing anything except to pretend to believe the lies that you know your parents believed. You know it because you don't actually believe it.
Right.
You're just going to pretend to believe and then the question that I want to ask you is, why?
Right.
And then the stuttering starts and the stammering starts. And this is me being a good person.
I agree.
This is me going right into their brain and making them think, like you, the things that they've never thought before.
Exactly.
To activate the neurons in their brain that they've never activated before because they've never even associated with the idea that that religion is not Boolean. It is not my God and everything else is wrong. It's my God versus this God versus this God versus this God versus this God versus atheism. Right? It's one of thousands. My God is one of thousands. Why?
Correct.
What do you believe for real? What do you actually think is true? And if you're choosing to believe, you're not choosing to believe. You're choosing to pretend to believe. What do you really believe, though?
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's the stuff that gets people thinking.
And I think it's really wild, too, because I've heard people try to say that you're an asshole or something because you do this, or even I'm an asshole. But I think it's not an asshole. Someone's an asshole that says untruth. Someone is an asshole that says malign things, against somebody. In other words, like if you said that I was ugly, or all theists are inherently
stupid,
ignorant. Yeah. I don't agree with that. Some theists are super smart, but it's just in this area, like you said, someone in power told them, hey, this is your religion. And they just said, oh, I agree. They just accepted. They wasn't without, and really we know this because look at how it's like, I think it's 73%. The Pew Research talks about how every religion, basically 73%, that's the dominant religion of the country. The people that believe things is generally just geography. If you were raised in it, we're told this is true, you just accepted it. So I do agree.
Right.
But it's an acceptance. It's not, I agree with you. They don't believe, you're either provided evidence you can believe or you're not. What they do is actually provided no evidence and they were told it and they accepted it. Oh, okay.
Right. That's indoctrination.
Yeah, totally. And to me, that's why they think that you or me are being an asshole. They need to clarify, look at it. Is David Silverman saying all, theists have, a low IQ? That's not what he's saying. And now that might be an asshole, right? That would be an asshole.
That would be an asshole.
And that would also be, saying that would also be just abusive and not true. To say that.
Am I an asshole would do something to be mean? An asshole would do something to be bad. There's nothing that I do to be mean or bad.
Right.
Everything that I do and everything that American Atheist does is to better human condition.
Right.
And we better human condition by increasing the awareness of the truth. And that's an important thing. That's the betterment, the awareness of the truth, and the awareness that indoctrination and that lies are not truth. And that and doing that is a good thing. And when people shit on us, they are defending religion, and they're not being assholes either. They're just being victims of the indoctrination that whether they're religious or atheist, they're just being the victims of the indoctrination that they received. And of course, they're but for dumb luck go we. I was a victim of indoctrination, so were you. We got out of a portion of it, and they have still stuck to that portion that says, well, we should be nice to religion because religion says so.
Yeah,
and if you attack religion, you're an asshole.
Yeah, that's why I said to me, I wanted to have you on here and talk about the Firebrand atheism because it is so important. Sorry, cat.
Demon.
Demon.
Bad demon.
Yeah, good demon, but this
He's a
not
naughty,
right now.
naughty demon.
It normally she stays like right near my arm when I work on stuff, but
yeah, but I do that to kitties. Yeah, dogs and cats they get they get active when I get around. I like them a lot. I love animals.
Oh, I love animals too, and I think that's why I think it's so important, to tie in that Firebrand atheism, unlike what they say, that somehow we're some hateful, bigoted, closed-minded assholes, is the exact opposite. I've had a lot of people that are Firebrand atheists, and most of them are to our persuasion. They're doing it because they care. They're doing it because hi, demon. they're doing it because of humanity. It's like everybody feels like the fact that we talk about atheism is something like it's a religion. I always laugh. How can it be a religion? It's like saying that sobriety is the same as addiction. Yeah. One is you're addicted to a toxic substance, religion. The other one is the removal of that toxic substance, or at least its challenge.
Right.
So I mean,
and it's an important and frustrating fight that we fight, but it's something that I've been doing now for 21 years, and I've been a Firebrand atheism for that entire time, and I got to tell you, it's very rewarding to see people coming out as more and more Firebrands. It's very rewarding. People are reading the book and liking the book, and it's being meaningful to them, and that's very, very obviously satisfying to me. But it's also encouraging because the message in Fighting God is strong and again supportable by quantitative independent data. And so I hope people go out and read Fighting God, and I hope people can come to American Atheists, come to our convention, and join American Atheists. It's important, Damien, that people like you have podcasts like this and shout this from the rooftops. Because not only are we right about God, we're right about religion. Yeah. I do hate religion, and so should you, and so should everybody. Not religious people, but religion should be hated. Religion is hateful, hate-worthy, hateful, and it deserves to die. And that's not a terrible thing to say. It's a loving and kind and heartful thing to say. It's not like, I'm sometimes compared to the God Hates Fags people, the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And they say things like that in order to shock people into getting, and they have a message of hate, and they use that message of hate to shock people into paying attention. That's not what we're doing. The fact that religion is shit and deserves to die is a message of love. It is a message of compassion. And it is a message that people need to take to heart, because religion is a lie. Religion is a con. Religion is a scam. All of it. No exceptions. And that means that we, as good people, have the social responsibility to take it down, just like we would take down tarot card readers or psychics or haunted houses or used car salesmen who lie. I mean, it's important that we take down scams. That's a good deed.
I totally agree.
This is us being caring humans. This is us caring. I tell a story about my mother. Before she died, she was seeing a psychic, and I went to her. I saw the receipt on her table, and I sat her down and I told her all about psychics and why. And she's like, "Oh, I was just." She got defensive. She's like, "Oh, I'm just doing it for entertainment purposes." And I'm like, "No, you're going because you actually think it. There's no reason to believe it. And even if you were going for entertainment purposes, you're giving money to a scam artist and enabling their scam, and they're scamming other people." And I stopped my mother from going to that psychic.
That's good.
And that was a good deed for me to do.
Yes.
And religion is exactly the same.
It totally is.
Exactly the same. And the only reason we don't put religion in the same category as psychics and con artists and used car salesmen who lie is because religion says so. That's the only reason we treat religion differently, because religion says so, and we atheists are still victims of that indoctrination that says religion deserves to be placed above other scams for the sole reason that it says so.
Yeah. Well,
And that's what we have to fight.
And I think that reminds me that when people try to talk about certainty, because they try to think like you and me, because I'm extremely strong. I'm not agnostic at all. I'm an ignostic with an I. I doubt the concept of God means anything. I mean, to me, I'm a hardcore. But to me, it's about they try to make it about certainty, but they don't understand. Certainty in a philosophy is not one kind of thing. There's basically psychological certainty, which you're talking about, like we know the scissors are scissors. We're 100% sure of that. There's no doubt.
Right.
Then there's a thing called epistemic certainty, which means like there's a higher justification to its claim of knowledge. Now that kind of certainty is more like science or some other type of things. But those still can be done. So it's not like it's a no certain or all certainty, like religion. Why I'm pointing that out, because I feel like some people try to say it's an all or nothing. Like either you have to say, I don't know anything, I can't make any claim, or you have to, or you're a theist, somehow using, an invalid foundationalism philosophy. Well, I know God is real, I'm 100% sure of this, and I have every proof in the world that can back up everything I say. You're like, they think like those are the only positions. So I know when they hear a Firebrand atheist say there's no God, because that's the most logical thing to look at the world, there's no magic, they think that is somehow that we are saying with some absolute certainty. Well, there's no absolute certainty in that sense in philosophy. So that word, like you were talking about, really, it doesn't matter. I care about what is epistemically certain. What can be proven or shown to be justified? Because I'm willing to believe things, but I have a belief etiquette. I have a process that I follow. That things that when they're offered to me, they have to be investigated, have to be seen as have reason and justification. Then while I hold a belief, like you were saying about Jewish atheists, even if I have a thought that I like, I test that belief again and again, which was called methodological skepticism, which is a process of trying to find truth and also believing that everything can be challenged. And which I think is what we do. That's how we become Firebrand atheists.
Yes.
We subjugate everything to the cauldron that it must be justified, and that which is not deserves our contempt.
Exactly. Couldn't have put it better myself, Damien. Very well put.
Thank you.
Very well put. I do have to get going.
All right, no problem.
So I want to thank you very much for having me on your show. If you don't mind.
No, please say it again.
My stuff is buzzing around me, and I do have to get going. So let me put in one more quick plug. The name of my book is Fighting God, an Atheist Manifesto for a Religious World. Something that a lot of people don't know is that I'm the first atheist activist to be published by a major publisher in American history. My publisher is Macmillan St. Martin's. Thank you very much, Macmillan St. Martin's, for publishing me. And it's really kind of cool because my agent is Barack Obama's agent.
Wow.
Is that cool or what?
Very cool.
Not the agency, the human.
Right.
It's actually Obama's agent. But at any rate, the name of the book is Fighting God. I'm very pleased to say that I've got very good reviews. Download it on Amazon or ebook, or find it in a Barnes & Noble. And the audiobook is for sale as well. And I do dictate the audiobook. American Atheists is America's oldest nonprofit organization for atheists in the country. We are the hardline atheist movement. We are the edge of the movement sword. Our website is atheists.org. We do need your support. We do need your money. Yes, we do. And we have a very small budget. By the way, we have 6 employees. We have a building with no mortgage. We have solar panels on the roof. All of your money. And by the way, we have our financials audited every year independently by an independent accounting firm. And we publish those audits on the web so that everybody knows exactly how their money is being spent, and everybody knows that the money that I ask for all the time is being used for activism efficiently. All the stuff that we're doing at American Atheists is being done by 6 employees and one hell of a volunteer corps. Thank you very much to our volunteers. The American Atheist National Convention is March 29th through April 1st. Hugh Laurie is our keynote speaker, along with Barry Lynn from Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, and Inna Shevchenko. And if you don't know who Inna Shevchenko is, you should look up Topless Jihadi and find out what a kick-ass activist looks like. This woman is is amazing. Damien, if you could come, you need to meet Inna. She is fantastic, and she's an inspiration to me.
Well, I plan on coming. I definitely support American Atheists. I want to come. I'm willing. I would like to speak sometime. I mean, I'm a firebrand. I want to let the Lord on fire when it comes to atheism.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We can't do it for 18, but let's talk about it, Damien.
Right on.
And for people who are afraid to come to the convention, first of all, nobody should be afraid to come. We specialize in a welcoming environment. We specialize in a friendly environment, a happy environment. The smiles will be everywhere. There will be a comedy show. There's going to be the charity event where we can make food for the hungry. There's going to be a fundraising event for a Muslim. I didn't mention this before. A Muslim activist, the founder of the Jordanian Atheists, is in trouble, and we're moving him to America.
Right on.
We're going to be collecting funds for him to move to America.
More humanism.
It's humanism. This is humanism.
Yeah.
This is the nice stuff, and part of humanism is calling yourself an atheist.
I agree.
And really pleased to say that Hugh Laurie is confirmed, and I can't be more thrilled about that we have an actual A-list celebrity coming to an atheist convention. I believe it's the first time. Really, really thrilled about that. The website for that is atheists.org/convention 2018. And again, if you don't think you can afford to come, first of all, our convention tickets are, I believe they're the lowest for national conventions in the country, even though our conventions are the biggest and best. But even if those prices aren't low enough for you, we have hardship pricing for students, for military, and for people who just can't afford it. Please come anyways and do what you can so that you can come be a part of this event, so that you can come be a part of this atmosphere and really soak in several hundred atheists all in one room, everyone smiling, everyone laughing, everyone welcoming, everyone happy. If you haven't had that experience, you owe it to yourself to come to the American Atheist National Convention, March 29th through April 1st, Easter weekend. It always is. You got nothing better to do. So please come to the American Atheist Convention in Oklahoma City, and we'll see you all there. Damien, thank you so much for allowing me the long plugs.
Yeah.
Also, thank you so much for your support and for your activism and for this podcast and for taking this message and for amplifying the message and for using your power and your ability to better society from this angle and from Seattle. I really appreciate you and your activism.
Thank you. And I just want to say one thing, I'll end, that I wanted to thank you for showing that humanism is part of Firebrand atheism. So
yeah, it's the heart and soul.
I appreciate it, man. And
I appreciate you too, brother.
Take care.